All right, crew, welcome back to the heart of the Oz Trails. We're here in beautiful Bentonville, Arkansas. I got my man Colin with me, and today we're going to talk about something very important. It's an element that should be in every jumper's arsenal, and that's the whip.
The what?
It's the whip.
Wait, the what?
The whip. The whip.
I don't know what that is. What are you talking about? The what?
You know exactly what I'm talking about, the whip, right? You're cool, you want to be cool, you do cool whips.
We're not making a ice cream sundae here. We're riding our bikes. I don't know what the whip is that you're talking about. But.
All right, so now we've got all that stuff out of the way. The man to my right, Colin Sigers, not only a specialized ambassador, but a local ripper, and somebody who has become a ripper in a very short period of time. So, Colin, glad to have you here.
Nice to be here.
What are your thoughts on the Oz Trails in 4 sentences? Go.
4 sentences. It's a place to be to get better on your bike. I mean, like you said, it only took me 3 years, and it's because this is so accessible to me to
there you
get
go.
better. Yeah.
Well, that's a main part of what we're talking about. If you want to whip, I think Colin would agree, you need to be pretty comfortable. You need to be comfortable jumping in general, and you have to find a place to do that. So thankfully here, we're blessed. We have a lot of places to go and session and really dial in this sort of technique. So one of them is here at the bottom of All American. Really cool spot, and we're gonna break down what it's like to do a whip and really dissect it, give you an inside look and see if we can help you fine tune that technique. All right, so there you have it. Colin giving us a little intro into a steezy whip. Now, a couple things to think about here. We've gotten past, you're comfortable, you're good hitting jumps, you got a good spot like we have here. If you'll notice, Colin was whipping back out to the left. I do it completely different and whip to the right. So what I found is everybody has their own side that they're more comfortable to. So that's the first thing you got to figure out. Now, breaking it down, a lot of it happens as you lead in. So one thing that's important is understanding when you come into the takeoff, if you go straight up the takeoff, you're not gonna be able to get as whipped as you would like, or as Colin did. Okay, step 1 is down here. What you have to think about is what you're doing on your approach. And what you need to do is, you need to come across the face of the takeoff at a slight angle while leaning your body over. Okay, think about the physics and the dynamics here for a second. This again is a pretty advanced move. So as you're coming up, you want to try to initiate with the bike angle and the body angle to the side to start to create that whip. All right, at this point, this is where you should be after you come off the takeoff sideways. Now, in all seriousness, when you come off sideways, off the takeoff, you're now inducing that lean, therefore that whip. So what's next? Here's a couple keys, things to trigger on. Okay, your hips need to stay neutral over the bottom bracket, but they need to stay loose because the bike's gonna come out. You need to like cowboy a little bit and let it come out. Second is, think inside shoulder. So inside for me is gonna be the opposite of the side that's whipping. So I'm coming out with the bike like this. I'm thinking about this shoulder heading where I wanna go. The other thing is I'm always pointing the wheel where I wanna go. So regardless of how wide and how whipped, corked, how much steez I throw down, it's always the front wheel, point that where you wanna go. Because literally, you can land like this. If you're loose, if your hips are loose and your front wheel's pointed where you need to go, it's your best opportunity to get down to the bottom. Now, the last thing is build on this, okay? You'll get whipped like this, you'll get whipped like this. The thing you need to think about is something called centrifugal force, okay? Right there, it's science. These big 29-inch wheels, they wanna get back upright. So when you come off and lean left and the bike's like this, it wants to end up being back here. All you gotta do is let it get back there. Put it in its home, send it to its home, but send it. All right, at this point, we got to talk about landing. Now, this can be the one most difficult factors of this whole equation, and this is where it can go wrong for a lot of people. Best advice is, like I said earlier, point the front where you want to go. That's the first key is, if the front wheel, the wheel of influence, isn't pointed where you want to go, you're going to have very little opportunity. The other thing is loosen your hips up a little bit, okay? Give it a little bit of like stanky leg. Let that thing hang out a little bit, and that's where a dropper comes in, and you can always let the rear come back in, but this is where you have to stay relaxed. So if you watch the 7 common jumping mistakes video, one of those mistakes was getting full rigor mortis. The whip comes with time, okay? You have to initiate off the takeoff. You have to think about leaning with that inside shoulder, keeping your hips loose over the center of the bike, and then letting it come back where it wants to go. I know it sounds pretty simple. It's fairly complex, but I think if you slowly build up to it, you'll start to get the feel. Hope that was helpful. Again, very advanced maneuver. We're gonna build into a few more of these. Keep your eyes peeled for, I don't know, maybe a scrub, maybe turn shrouds. We're gonna bring them to you guaranteed. In the meantime, click that link below, check out our Patreon. We'd love to have your support there. Become a patron, get some behind the scenes, some early looks at some of this stuff, and some gear, some stickers, all that rad stuff. So, man, I think we've broken down the whip pretty good. I mean, anybody else have any input?
Colin Seigers, and I like to whip.
I'm Harry Ware, and I like to quip.
My name's Grayson. I like to quip.
Peace.
Out.
Dumpers.